The biggest reason most families can't use reward travel isn't necessarily because they're choosing the wrong flight. It's because they earned the wrong kind of reward points in the first place. This mistake matters so much more if you're booking for a family or a group. So much reward travel advice is really tailored to a solo traveler or even a couple, but there's very few resources out there for families, and that's where Her Travel Club comes in. Because really, if you're booking for just one person, the entire strategy and system breaks down once you start looking for flights for 5 or more people. If you've been watching this playlist, and if you haven't, be sure to click this link right up here to get started. You already know a couple things. In the first video, we covered Family A and Family B, took a deep dive into 2 American households where they earned the exact same money, had the same expenses, same amount of kids, and even ate at the same restaurants. However, Family B could afford at least one amazing, all expenses paid trip for their family of 5 every single year. By all expenses, I mean their flights and their hotel covered using travel reward points, without opening a bunch of new credit cards every year, without carrying debt, without credit card churning, and without any high-stress strategies. In the second video, we demystified points and walked you through the exact process of what it looks like and how to search and find these amazing reward vacations. Then in the last video, I showed you in real time, I booked a flight to Paris, and if I had gone through the Delta portal, it would have cost me over 120,000 points one way, and instead I paid less than $12 out of pocket to book this amazing reward flight and only 22,000 reward miles. This flight runs through the same airline, the same seat, same time. I just saved a ton of money on it. So you'll want to check out that video. And so today we're really going to take a deep dive into that difference specifically and why earning more points isn't necessarily the answer. I know for a lot of travel content creators, they talk a lot about earning 1 million points a year. And this almost always includes the strategy called credit card churning, where you open up a whole bunch of different credit cards in the same year so that way you can accumulate those welcome bonuses, which is nice. We covered welcome bonuses in video number 1, and that can be really great. Also, that can make reward travel a whole hobby, and still the redemptions don't often apply to a large group of 5 or more. So that is where we are filling in that gap. Because the fact of the matter is, you probably do earn enough, you don't need to open up more cards, and that reward travel and points really do work for families. I'm living proof of it. I've taken my family of 6 to Mexico, to France, to Switzerland, on domestic flights to Las Vegas and Santa Fe, and we've done it all through reward travel. I've also had enough points left over that I can take solo trips to Paris, I can take amazing anniversary vacations with my husband to Costa Rica, and we can take work trips to Hawaii and have everything paid for with points. I am living proof that these strategies work. However, if you do plan on flying with your family, we do need to pivot our way of thinking slightly because, as mentioned before, most reward travel advice is tailored to one seat. The biggest thing that we just cannot talk about enough is making sure that you are accumulating transferable points, meaning that they are not tied to a specific hotel or airline. So that way you can not only get transfer bonuses when those are available, but you can also shop the entire world and multiple airlines to make sure that you're getting the absolute best deal. This is where the magic happens, especially when it comes to group and family bookings. But here's the trap that I see so much of the time. Someone will earn a bunch of points through a co-branded card like your Delta SkyMiles card or your Frontier Airlines card, and they earn a bunch of points. They accumulate them really fast. However, when it comes time to redeem those points and actually book flights, your seats are much more limited and you end up getting more price gouged for the exact same seat than you would have if you could shop for every airline using the same reward points. They end up thinking, well, I guess I need more points in order to book anything, or they start thinking that this just doesn't work. But the reality is, bad points don't get better because you have more of them. This really is where transferable points changes everything. Transferable points really can be the difference between barely being able to book 1 seat and very comfortably being able to book 5. We saw evidence of this in the last video of just how far your points can stretch when they're transferable. When your points can move, you really don't need nearly as many. And you can access multiple airlines and find deals that really work for families. That's exactly why in the last video, I was able to book my flight to Paris for 22,000 points, not 120,000 points if I were to have booked it through Delta. This wasn't a trick. This wasn't a loophole. This is strategy, and it's repeatable. It really is exactly what transferable points are designed to do. So the next thing that I want to talk about is cards to avoid. So often when you want to get started with reward travel, you think, oh, I'm going to open up a card through an airline. That's obviously going to give me the best deals. However, as we've covered, they lock you into their system. And as we know, families, especially big ones, need more flexibility. The second rule of thumb for cards that you want to avoid altogether is cards that find you. If you find yourself sitting on a flight and your flight attendant is selling you a credit card, you do not want it. You don't want it. It doesn't matter what they say. That is not the card you want. In general, I feel like we can apply this to all personal finance. If a credit card finds you in a retail store checkout line, at a college welcome thing, you do not want those credit cards. Those are highly predatory. They are not as good as they seem. You want to shop for the right card that's going to fit you, your lifestyle, and your family the best. In general, if the card shows up in the mail and is begging for you to apply, it exists for that credit card company. It is not going to benefit you. You want to shop for what's going to benefit you. The third kind of cards that I want to talk about is cashback cards. So often people will believe that if they get a cashback credit card and they use it responsibly, they pay it off every month, and then they just use their cash back to book flights and hotels, they're kind of getting the bottom of the barrel redemptions. Cashback can feel safe, however, it caps your value and the upside. You can legitimately get 2 to 10 times the value by booking through reward points than booking with cashback money. When used correctly, points and miles can go far further than cashback ever will. Another big mistake that I see families make is they start searching for reward flights in their credit card portal. As demonstrated in the last video, if I had started my search in the Delta portal, I would have thought that 120,000 miles for a flight to Paris was the best deal that I could get. However, this is far from the truth. So I highly recommend you start with free award search tools, and we covered those in video number 2. There you can find all different airlines' reward availability. You can find amazing hotel deals that offer you really excellent redemptions, and you can plan a trip really easily with the points that you already have accumulated. In general, you'll always want to find the deal first, then move the points. I also recommend finding your flight deal first because there can be a wider range of redemption values that you can find there. So I like to find the flight deal first, then find your hotel. But using these search tools make finding these deals really simple. It's not stressful, and it's not hard, and it actually doesn't even take longer. Next, let's talk about the belief that you need more cards to accumulate more points. And as we've discussed in our first video, you really don't. You just need to funnel your existing expenses strategically through the cards that are going to give you the most value for that category. And I also have a video that I'll link to right here on how to really up-level your reward redemptions without opening any new cards. So you might want to check that one out. But as I've mentioned, the average family of 5 making the average household income in America, if applying the strategies we've covered in this playlist, should be able to cover the flights and hotel for all 5 for an amazing international trip every single year. Now, as you're going through researching these flights and getting excited and implementing and integrating everything that we've covered in this playlist, one of my favorite tools that I keep going back to every single time behind the scenes before I make a booking is I run it through my reward calculator to make sure that I'm actually getting a good redemption value. It tells me exactly how much I'm getting per point, if I should use cash instead, or if I should keep looking. And it really breaks down in a simple way if transferring my points makes sense. It removes the guesswork and the math so that I can just have fun planning the trip. So you can grab that below as well. So to recap, here is why this system works. You end up taking out fewer cards, using better searches, and accumulating higher quality reward points. This is how the average family can stretch those into actual stays in amazing hotels, real flights, taking your children to places that you never thought possible, and being able to do it on repeat. Not someday, not when the kids get older. You can be doing that this year. Now, in the final video in this playlist, I'm going to be walking through the step-by-step process of exactly how I map out my entire year, how I work around kids' schedules, and my full system. So you'll want to check that out and click this video right here on your screen. I'll see you there.